Ethan Varen woke up before the sun. The chill of early morning touched his skin as he stepped out of the small wooden house he called home. His farm stretched out around him, simple and quiet, with fields of wheat swaying gently in the soft breeze. The distant hills glowed faintly as light crept over their tops. For Ethan, each day was the same, and he liked it that way. Life on the edge of human-settled space was lonely but peaceful. He walked toward the fields, his boots crunching over dry soil. The wheat was tall this year, taller than he had ever seen, and ripe for harvesting. Ethan carried his tools in one hand, humming a small tune he had learned as a boy. The rhythm was comforting, something to keep him awake during long hours in the sun. Around him, small animals scuttled through the field. Rabbits, foxes, and birds that seemed to know his presence was safe. As he bent to cut the stalks of wheat, something strange caught his eye. At first he thought it was a stone, glinting oddly in the sunlight. But as he reached down, the object pulsed faintly as if it were alive. Ethan frowned. He had lived on this farm all his life. He had seen meteor dust, strange rocks, and the occasional glowing crystal from the space traders who passed by, but nothing like this. He picked it up carefully. It was small, smooth, and warm in his palm. The color shifted slightly from deep blue to soft purple, and faint sparks of light danced along its surface. Ethan turned it over in his hand, feeling an odd vibration. It seemed almost to hum, but quietly, like a whisper he could not hear fully. "Where did you come from?" he muttered, looking around. The field was empty, and the sky was still just waking up. Nothing seemed unusual except for this tiny glowing seed. Ethan felt a strange pull toward it, something that told him to keep it safe. He slipped it into his pocket, ignoring the voice in the back of his mind that wondered why something like this was here, in his quiet, lonely field. The rest of the day passed in his usual rhythm, though Ethan could not stop thinking about the seed. He fed the small animals, repaired the fence by the barn, and checked the water troughs. Every now and then he would reach into his pocket and feel the tiny pulse of the object. It was comforting in a strange way, like it was alive and aware. As the sun climbed higher, Ethan carried the seed to a small patch of soil near the edge of the field. The earth was soft there, rich and dark and untouched by his plow. He knelt down, brushing dirt away carefully, and placed the seed gently in the ground. It sank slightly into the soil, and for a moment nothing happened. Ethan wiped the sweat from his brow and stood up. He watched the field as he continued his work. The sun beat down, the wind blew, and everything seemed normal. But when he looked back at the small patch of soil, the seed shimmered faintly in the sunlight. Ethan blinked, thinking it was a trick of his eyes. But the shimmer stayed, subtle yet different from anything else around it. That night, he sat by the fireplace, eating a simple meal of bread and roasted vegetables. Outside, the stars shone brightly, scattered across the black sky like diamonds. He thought about the seed again, about its strange warmth and its quiet pulsing. What if it was dangerous? What if it was something no human was meant to touch? And yet, he could not bring himself to fear it. Something about it felt right, almost like it had been waiting for him. Sleep did not come easily. Ethan lay awake on the small cot in his room, staring at the ceiling. He thought about the field, about the work he had done, and about the seed buried just beyond the wheat. In the quiet of the night, he imagined it growing, changing, becoming something new. A shiver ran down his spine, not from fear but from awe. He had never felt anything like it. By dawn, Ethan was back in the field. The wind was soft, carrying the scent of the earth and fresh wheat. He knelt by the seed again, brushing the soil lightly as if checking on a newborn child. And though nothing had visibly changed, he felt a spark of something extraordinary beginning. He did not know what it would become, only that it was his to watch over. For the first time, the ordinary life of a human farmer felt different. The sun rose over his simple farm, but in the soil below, something ancient and mysterious slept, waiting to awaken. Ethan smiled faintly, a mixture of curiosity and wonder lighting his eyes. His life had been quiet, predictable, and lonely, but that day the world had changed and he had no idea how far that change would reach. Ethan could not stop thinking about the seed. Every day he checked on it, brushing the soil lightly as if it were a living thing. Nothing dramatic seemed to happen at first. The sun rose, the wind blew through the wheat, and the small animals wandered near the patch of earth. Yet, the seed pulsed faintly every time he was close, a quiet rhythm that felt almost like a heartbeat. One morning, as Ethan bent over the soil, the seed began to glow more brightly. The light was soft at first, a gentle blue, then it deepened to a radiant purple, stretching tendrils of color into the air like mist. Ethan gasped, stepping back. He had never seen anything like this. The wind stilled around him, and even the birds in the field seemed to pause, watching. The seed trembled, and then, slowly, tiny sparks of matter lifted from the soil. They hovered just above the earth, spinning in circles, glowing faintly. Ethan reached out his hand, and a spark drifted toward him. It felt warm and alive, as if it recognized him. He pulled his hand back, amazed and a little frightened. Something incredible was happening right in his farm, something beyond his understanding. Over the next few days, the seed grew faster than any plant Ethan had ever seen. Its glow filled more of the field, and strange shapes formed above it, tiny spheres that shimmered like glass. Some hovered like floating planets, while others swirled together like miniature galaxies. Ethan rubbed his eyes. "It can't be. It just can't," he whispered. He tried to explain it to himself logically. Maybe it was some rare space seed that fell from a passing comet. Maybe it was reacting to the warmth of the sun and the rich soil. But deep down Ethan knew it was more than that. He could feel it, a quiet intelligence, like the seed was aware of him and everything around it. Ethan worked carefully, keeping animals and people away from the strange patch. He built a small wooden fence around it and watered the soil gently. As he worked, the seed pulsed in response, its light brightening each time he approached. He began to realize that it was not just growing, it was alive in a way he had never imagined. That night Ethan could not sleep. The light from the seed shone faintly through his bedroom window, painting the walls with soft colors. He imagined the shapes he had seen, the tiny spheres spinning and glowing. Something deep in his chest stirred. He had spent his life tending crops, animals and soil, but this was something beyond that. He was not just a farmer now. Somehow he was caring for something much larger, something extraordinary. The next morning he noticed a change. The seed had grown larger, and the spheres above it were moving faster. Some collided gently, merging into new shapes. Others split apart, creating patterns that seemed almost intelligent. Ethan knelt beside the soil, feeling a mixture of awe and fear. "I don't know what you are," he said quietly, "but I will take care of you." By midweek, the glow from the seed could be seen from the small road near the farm. A few travelers stopped, curious about the light. Ethan waved them away politely, not wanting anyone to disturb it. He had no idea what might happen if someone else touched it. This seed, he realized, was too important to risk. One evening, while the sun was setting, the seed pulsed brighter than ever. A faint hum filled the air, like a soft vibration from the earth itself. Ethan placed his hand over the soil and felt it resonate through his body. Then, slowly, he saw a tiny spark rise into the sky. It grew and grew, spinning faster until it became a small sphere, shining like a star. Ethan blinked. The seed was making its own light, forming something completely new. Over the next few days, the tiny universe above the seed began to take shape. Miniature stars, planets, and glowing clouds of gas floated gently above the soil. They spun in delicate patterns, orbiting each other as if they had always existed. Ethan could hardly believe his eyes. "It's a universe," he whispered. The words felt too big, too strange, yet they were true. Ethan realized that his quiet farm life had changed forever. He was no longer just a farmer planting wheat. He was a guardian of something miraculous. Each morning he tended the soil, watered carefully, and watched the tiny spheres grow and shift. And every night, he lay awake, listening to the hum of the seed and imagining the worlds forming above his fields. He also noticed changes in the environment. The animals seemed calmer, almost enchanted by the seed's presence. The air carried a faint warmth, and even the soil seemed richer, more alive. Ethan felt a strange connection to everything around him. He was not alone in his farm anymore. The seed had brought something extraordinary into his life, and he knew he would do whatever it took to protect it. One evening, as the first stars of the real night sky appeared, Ethan knelt by the soil and whispered to the seed, "Grow safely, and don't let anyone hurt you." The tiny spheres above it twinkled in response, and he felt a wave of hope. Something incredible had begun, and though he did not yet understand the full power of the seed, he knew one thing. His life, and perhaps the life of many worlds to come, had changed forever. Ethan stood up and looked out across his farm. The wheat swayed gently, the sky turned deep purple with the setting sun, and the seed pulsed softly in the soil. For the first time he felt truly connected to the universe, not just as a human but as a part of something far larger than himself. Ethan could no longer hide the changes in his farm. The seed's glow had grown so strong that it lit up the field even at night. Tiny spheres of matter hovered above it, spinning in patterns that seemed alive. Birds and small animals lingered nearby, drawn to the strange light, while the wheat seemed to grow taller, greener, almost as if the seed itself was nurturing the land. Ethan stood in awe, unsure what to do next. Then one morning a small spacecraft landed quietly near the edge of his field. Ethan's heart raced. Visitors were rare in this part of the galaxy, and most were traders or scientists looking for exotic minerals. A woman stepped out of the ship. She wore a white suit with a small emblem on the chest, and her eyes were bright and sharp. "I am Dr. Lyra Kess," she said calmly, "and I have been tracking unusual cosmic energy near this region. May I see your field?" Ethan hesitated but nodded. Something about her voice made him feel he could trust her. He led her to the seed, still glowing and pulsing softly in the soil. Dr. Kess knelt beside it, her eyes widening. This is incredible," she whispered. "I've never seen anything like it. This seed, it is not from this universe. It may be a remnant of a dying universe, or even a seed for a new one." Ethan stared at her. "A new universe?" he repeated. "You mean, it's alive?" Dr. Kess nodded slowly. "Yes. And what's more, it seems aware of you. It responds to your presence. Somehow, it trusts you." She stood and looked at him with intensity. "You need to understand the importance of this, Ethan. This seed is not just a plant. It is the beginning of something unimaginably powerful, a universe being born. Your simple care for it has already started a process no one else could begin." Ethan's mind swirled with questions. How could a human, a simple farmer on a quiet planet, be involved in something so vast? He glanced down at the seed, glowing softly in the soil. He felt a mix of awe, pride, and fear. "I never wanted anything like this," he said quietly. "I just wanted to live my life, tend my crops, and now this." Dr. Kess smiled faintly. "Sometimes, the most extraordinary things happen to ordinary people. You are proving that humans have something others do not: patience, care, and a moral sense that even the most advanced species may lack. You are shaping the first moments of this new universe, and that is remarkable." As they talked, the small spheres above the seed began to grow. Tiny stars formed and glowing clouds of gas appeared, swirling gently. Ethan watched, unable to look away. His hands itched to touch them, to help in some way, but he knew it was too powerful for that. "I don't even know what to do," he admitted. Dr. Kess placed a hand on his shoulder. "You do what you've already been doing. Care for it. Protect it. Let it grow. That is enough. Everything else will follow naturally." But not everyone in the galaxy would see it that way. Dr. Kess's voice grew serious. "I have to warn you, Ethan. Other civilizations will detect this energy soon. They will see it as a resource, a weapon, or a threat. They may come here to take it from you. You will have to protect it." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. Protect it? He was a farmer. He had never fought anyone in his life. But as he looked at the seed, glowing softly in the soil, he felt a new resolve. Somehow he could not let anyone harm it. Not now, not ever. That night, Ethan lay in bed thinking about the warning. He imagined alien ships arriving, strange creatures trying to take the seed, and yet he also imagined the tiny stars and planets forming above the soil. He realized that even if he was small and ordinary, his choices mattered more than he could have ever imagined. The next morning, Ethan returned to the field before sunrise. He knelt beside the seed, brushing the soil gently. The tiny spheres above it shimmered in response, as if acknowledging him. Ethan spoke softly, "I don't know what will happen, but I promise. I will protect you." The seed pulsed warmly, and for a moment he felt a deep connection with it, as if it understood his words. Over the following days, Ethan and Dr. Kess worked together. She explained the basic principles of cosmic energy, gravity, and matter formation in simple terms. Ethan listened carefully, using his natural intuition to understand the patterns forming above the seed. He realized that his experience as a farmer, observing growth, nurturing life, being patient, was exactly what this seed needed. The tiny universe continued to grow. Stars shone brighter, planets took shape, and luminous clouds of gas swirled gently above the soil. Ethan's farm had become a cradle of creation, a place where a new cosmos was beginning to live. He felt a mixture of pride, fear, and awe. He had started the day as a simple human farmer, but now he was the guardian of something beyond imagining. And yet, as he watched, he felt a deep truth settle in his mind. Humans were not weak nor small. Even in the quietest, most ordinary lives, they carried the power to touch creation itself. Ethan realized that the universe above him was growing because of him, because of human patience, care, and courage. He did not yet know the challenges ahead. Alien civilizations, cosmic forces, and the unknown dangers of a newborn universe would test him. But for the first time, Ethan understood something powerful. Humans could rise to meet the cosmos, even from a simple farm on the edge of space. He knelt by the soil one last time that morning, whispering to the seed, "Grow safe, and I will stay with you." The tiny spheres above it pulsed in response, brighter than ever, and Ethan smiled. He did not yet know the full story, but he felt the weight and wonder of what was beginning. A new universe had started, and somehow it had started with him. Ethan awoke to an unusual quiet. The wind did not rustle the wheat, and the birds seemed to hover above the field in stillness. He stepped outside and walked toward the patch of soil where the seed pulsed with its soft, cosmic glow. The tiny spheres above it had grown larger, spinning with more energy, and Ethan could feel a hum in the air, like the heartbeat of something alive. He knew he had to protect it. Dr. Lyra Kess had warned him about alien civilizations that might try to take the seed. He had never faced danger before. He had only faced storms, drought, and wild animals. But this was different. This was a responsibility beyond anything he had ever imagined. Ethan spent the morning fortifying the area. He built a stronger fence around the seed, using old wood and metal from the barn. He dug trenches and created simple barriers, hoping they would slow anyone down. It was primitive, but he trusted his instincts. He knew the seed's energy would react to care and attention, and perhaps that was his greatest protection. By afternoon, the sky began to shimmer strangely. Tiny lights appeared above the horizon, moving faster than any star should. Ethan squinted, his heart pounding. Ships. He could see them now, alien crafts, sleek and metallic, descending toward his farm. They were drawn by the energy of the seed. Fear clenched his stomach, but he refused to run. He had to stand his ground. Dr. Kess arrived just in time, stepping out of her small spacecraft with a calm expression. "Ethan," she said, "they've detected the energy. We have little time. You must focus on keeping the seed safe. I will do what I can to delay them." Ethan nodded. He took a deep breath and looked at the soil where the seed rested. The tiny spheres spun faster, as if aware of the approaching danger. He knelt down and placed his hands gently on the ground. A warmth spread through him, and he felt a strange energy connecting him to the seed. It was as if it trusted him, asking him to guide it. The first alien ship landed near the edge of the field. Ethan could see the figures inside, tall, strange beings with sharp eyes and metallic armor. They moved toward the seed, confident in their technology and power. Ethan felt small, ordinary, and unarmed. But he remembered something Dr. Kess had said: humans had something others did not: patience, creativity, and care. He looked around the farm. The wheat, the animals, the uneven ground, all of it could be used. Ethan acted quickly. He lit small fires along the trenches and rigged simple pulleys to create obstacles. The aliens hesitated, surprised by the sudden defenses. Ethan's heart raced, but he stayed calm, directing each move with careful precision. His years as a farmer, solving problems and working with the land, gave him an advantage no alien weapon could anticipate. The aliens advanced, but Ethan's improvised traps slowed them. Sparks flew from the fires, smoke rose, and the seed pulsed brighter, reacting to the chaos around it. Tiny spheres of light shifted and moved, forming patterns in the air that Ethan did not fully understand. He realized the seed itself was defending, in its own mysterious way, amplifying his efforts. Dr. Kess used her technology to project barriers, buying Ethan more time. Together, they worked seamlessly, human intuition and alien science, protecting the nascent universe. Ethan felt a surge of pride. He was ordinary, yes, but in this moment he was extraordinary. The seed was alive, and he was its guardian. Hours passed. The alien ships finally retreated, unable to penetrate the combined defenses of human ingenuity and the seed's mysterious power. Ethan collapsed to his knees, breathing heavily, watching the tiny spheres settle into a calm rotation above the soil. The danger had passed, at least for now. He looked at Dr. Kess. I didn't think I could do it," he admitted. "I'm just a farmer." She smiled. "That's exactly why you could do it. Humans have a way of thinking, of caring, that no one else has. You protected something bigger than yourself. That is the strength of your kind." As night fell, Ethan stayed by the seed, watching the tiny universe above it. Stars twinkled, planets spun, and soft clouds of light drifted across the growing cosmos. The field seemed peaceful again, but Ethan knew he could not relax. Others would come, curious or greedy, wanting the power the seed contained. But for the first time he felt a new confidence. He had faced danger, used his mind and hands, and succeeded. He understood that protecting the seed was not about weapons or strength, it was about care, attention, and human ingenuity. And in that, he felt the true power of humanity. Ethan knelt and whispered to the seed, "You are safe with me. I will not let anyone harm you." The tiny spheres pulsed warmly, brighter than before, and a sense of calm spread through the field. For the first time he felt connected not just to the seed, but to the growing universe it carried. He looked out across the wheat, the small farmhouse and the hills beyond. His life had been simple, ordinary and quiet, but that had prepared him for this. Ordinary humans with ordinary skills could do extraordinary things. He was living proof. And as the night sky filled with distant stars, Ethan knew that the tiny universe above the soil would continue to grow, nurtured by human care, human courage and human heart. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he would meet them. Because he was a human, and humans, even the simplest ones, could shape creation itself. Ethan stood in the early morning light, staring at the patch of soil where the cosmic seed pulsed softly. The tiny spheres above it had grown larger, spinning in delicate patterns that resembled miniature galaxies. He had spent days protecting it, guiding its growth and marveling at its beauty. And now, after all the danger and effort, he finally understood the full weight of what he had done. The universe above the soil was no longer just a collection of stars and planets. It had a rhythm, a life of its own. Ethan knelt and placed his hands gently on the earth, feeling the warmth of the seed spread through him. It was as if the seed recognized him not only as a protector, but as a partner in creation. He whispered softly, "Grow well. I will be here to watch over you." News of the growing cosmic energy began to spread across the galaxy. Dr. Lyra Kess had shared what she could, carefully, without revealing the seed's exact location. Soon, other humans and even some alien observers arrived, watching from a distance. They marveled at the small universe forming above a humble farm, realizing that a single human had begun something no civilization had ever achieved. Ethan felt a mixture of pride and humility. He was just a farmer, yet he had touched the very fabric of creation. He thought about the life he had led, the quiet mornings, the work in the fields, the care for animals, and realized it had prepared him for this moment. Humans, he understood, had a unique strength. They could be small and ordinary, yet capable of extraordinary acts through patience, care, and courage. One evening, Dr. Kess approached him with a serious expression. "Ethan," she said, "I've seen many civilizations attempt to create or manipulate universes. None succeeded. They lacked what you have, heart. You are a human, and your humanity is the seed's greatest guide." Ethan smiled faintly, looking at the glowing spheres. "I just did what I could. I didn't know it would be like this." Dr. Kess shook her head. "That's exactly it. You did not seek power. You cared. You nurtured. That is why the seed responded to you." Over the following weeks, Ethan continued his quiet work. He tended the soil, observed the growing universe, and ensured that no one disturbed it. The aliens who had once tried to take the seed now watched from a distance, learning that force could not shape creation in the same way humans could. It was patience, care, and wisdom that allowed the new universe to grow safely. Ethan often walked among the wheat, thinking about the small life he had led before. He realized that even in the humblest, most ordinary life, humans carried the potential to leave a mark on the cosmos. His actions had started something that would last far beyond his own lifetime, a universe shaped by the gentle, patient hands of a human farmer. At night he would sit by the seed and watch. The tiny spheres of light shimmered like stars, spinning in perfect harmony. Occasionally he imagined entire planets forming, oceans filling, and skies glowing. He knew he could not control it fully, but he also understood that humans did not need to control everything. Sometimes the greatest power came from guidance and care, not domination. One night, as he stared at the small universe, a thought struck him. What if humans could always leave such a mark? What if, in the quiet corners of their ordinary lives, they could shape worlds, start civilizations, and touch the stars? The idea filled him with hope. Perhaps humanity's greatest strength was not in weapons or technology, but in their heart, their ability to care, to imagine, and to protect. Ethan realized that he was not just protecting the seed, he was teaching the galaxy a lesson. Alien civilizations, with all their advanced tools and knowledge, could not create life in the same way. Only humans, with their patience, creativity, and moral sense, could do it. The universe above his farm was living proof. As the weeks passed, the tiny universe grew brighter, more complex. Stars shone with warmth, planets spun in harmony, and clouds of light drifted gracefully. Ethan sometimes reached out and touched the soil, feeling the gentle hum beneath his hands. It was a reminder that even the simplest human could make a difference on a cosmic scale. Finally, one morning, Ethan walked across his field, looking out at the glowing spheres above the soil. He felt a quiet satisfaction. He had done more than he had ever imagined possible. A single human, guided by heart and care, had nurtured the birth of a new universe. He smiled, thinking of the future, how the universe would continue to grow, shaped in some small way by the hand of humanity. Ethan returned to his farmhouse and looked at the horizon. The wheat swayed gently in the wind, the stars above sparkled faintly, and the seed pulsed in quiet rhythm. Life on the farm would continue, simple and ordinary, but now it held extraordinary meaning. Humans, he understood, could be creators, protectors, and guardians of life itself. And as he gazed at the glowing spheres, Ethan whispered one last time, "Grow safe, and live well." The tiny universe pulsed warmly, almost as if it understood, and Ethan felt a deep sense of peace. He knew that one humble human had left a mark on creation itself, and that humanity in its simple, quiet way could shape the stars. For the first time Ethan truly believed it, humans were extraordinary.